not true.
That's the TV movie Amanda Knox, Murder on Trial, which is airing again this week. And there's another movie in the works, reportedly starring Colin Firth, along with possible book deals. And networks courting her for an exclusive interview. Well, for Glenn Selig, media frenzies, accusations, and notoriety are bread and butter. He's a public relations agent whose clients include disgraced Illinois Governor Rod Blagojevich and the defense attorney for Casey Anthony. He joins me tonight from Tampa. Glenn, thanks so much for talking to us tonight.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
You know, we were looking just yesterday, I guess it was, that the name Amanda Knox was the third most searched term in Google around the world. We know that there's massive interest in her story. So as she steps off that plane tonight, what exactly is she walking into?
She's walking into a hornet's nest, but this may be one she may very well want to walk into, because this is a story that there is huge interest in, there could be huge money in, and there will be networks and entertainment folks that will want to have a piece of it and a piece of her. So she's going to have a lot of opportunities coming her way, because most people in the United States anyway believe that she's been wrongly done here, that she did nothing wrong.
But one of the things that was pointed out throughout both the investigation and the trial is she was really her own worst representative. I mean, there were many people who are chronicling that, you know, she didn't do the right thing. She was doing cartwheels in the police station while she was being investigated, that she was saying the wrong things. She was making out with her boyfriend when they were under investigation. These things were popping up on YouTube, which was so many people pointing at her saying she doesn't look like someone who's innocent. So already, I mean, there have to be concern about, will she represent herself properly, especially under such scrutiny? What do you do about that?
Well, you get help. If you can't do it, you get somebody who can help navigate those waters. The court of public opinion is very powerful, and arguably just as powerful as the courtroom itself. And if you misstep in the court of public opinion and do cartwheels or act in ways that are strange and reflect in such a way that people think you're guilty, you're already behind the eight ball once you go into court. And a lot of people make up their minds during the period before you even set foot into the courtroom. So clearly she has a history of not necessarily doing the right thing. So those are things that she really needs to be aware of and needs to be careful about to make sure that she doesn't make those same mistakes again. There are a lot of people who are going to be watching to hear what she says and how she says it, and she needs to have her proverbial ducks in a row.
If you were counseling her, I'm curious to know, what's the shelf life of her story right now? Is this something that you want to say, we want to get something out there early because of all this interest, or is it better for her to keep her powder dry and do the right thing at a later date?
Well, the reality is she's not going to be calling all the shots. The network's news divisions, the people who are interested in her story, will be the ones who will kind of dictate how long of a shelf life there is. As you know, there's a big story that comes along every so often. So this story has a shelf life until the next big story comes along. Do I think that there would be a market even beyond that? Yes, I do. But the immediate frenzy, the fact that she's just coming back, how she gets acclimated in her home, how she adjusts to life with her friends, those are the stories that people are really going to want to hear, and they're going to want to hear how that adjustment is being made.
I mean, there's a cold hard reality. This woman spent 4 years in jail for a crime that she didn't do. And clearly, it would be an opportunity for her to make some money, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that. What's the biggest mistake, though, she could make in that goal?
There are people out there who still believe that she did do something and she got away with it, and she needs to be mindful of that. She can't do anything that gives those people any ammunition whatsoever. So doing cartwheels at inappropriate times, or saying things that seem a little bit cold and heartless and maybe a little bit too self-absorbed and self-consumed might be a mistake. We have to remember here that there is a person who was murdered. And there is a family who is still grieving, and there is an entire country that largely believes that Amanda Knox was responsible in some way, shape, or form. So you have to just be wary of that and be aware of that and couch your statements in such a way as to not rub it in. This is really a story about her adjusting to a new life and her insisting that she has done nothing wrong from the start, and her trying to prove her innocence, and apparently she has. But she has to keep in the back of her mind there are a lot of people still hurting, and she needs to to reflect that in her statements.
And she has to keep in the bottom of her mind, too, that there are a lot of people watching everything that she will be doing, at least for the next little while. Hey, Glenn, great to talk to you tonight. We really appreciate this. Thank you.
Thank you. My pleasure.
Well, Knox